救われるゲーミング
Event review. Woo-wee. Alright, what's up everybody? So, I'm going to do maybe something a little bit different from this year. I'm going to start an event review. And, leave your thoughts and comments and stuff. Obviously, everything I say is my personal point of view. So you may agree with it, you may not. But, leave your thoughts and comments in this comment section. There you go, easy peasy. So, I won't do this for every... I won't do this for every event, but I will do it for special events. So, for example, recently we had the City of Wizards, which is something that will not happen all the time. But we do have stuff like Make It Shine for the treasure events. We have like roulette and things like that that do happen quite often. So I probably won't review that. But I'm going to go ahead and review the City of Wizards today. And I'm going to split it up into like different, like the chapters that they had and my thoughts on what we had to do in each one. And then, then at the end we'll give an overall score. So for the criteria, I'm going to look at event idea. Like, what was the idea of the event pretty good? Was it kind of interesting? Things like that. I'm going to look at the ease. Was it good? Was it good? Was it too easy? Was it difficult? Was it just right? Were there times it was challenging and stuff like that? Going to look at the waiting times. How long we had to wait between certain parts, or how long you had to wait until you could do something else in it. We're going to look at the reward or the rewards that you could claim from the event itself. We're also going to look at how friendly it was to free-to-play players. Yeah, that's right. The time limit, how long they gave to do the event, and then overall we'll just take an average score. And I'm going to score it out of 8. Don't know why it was 8. I like the number 8 though. I like number 8. It's symmetrical in it. And if you turn it 90 degrees, it's infinity. Cool. That's by the by anyway. Alright, let's get into the review. Alright, so in the City of Wizards, there were 3 chapters in total. But we're going to start with chapter 1. So in chapter 1, we had about 10 days before chapter 2 opened. A nice amount of time to complete it. In this chapter, we had to collect moon jellies. We either had to collect full moon jellies or crescent moon jellies. And full moon jellies being like a whitish color and the crescent ones being red. These jellies were dependent on which card you picked at the start, whether the full moon card or the crescent card. But overall, the maps were exactly the same. But if you picked the full moon, you had like a blue overlay on the map. And if you picked the crescent, you had a red overlay on the map. Alright, so as we saw in the video, you could collect both the crescent and the full moon jellies regardless of which card you picked, but the card you picked had a greater chance of showing. Each day we had 5 bonus missions as well to complete. The card you chose had a total of 60, and the card you didn't choose had a total of 40 that you could get each day. I don't think the missions were overly difficult. I think everybody had a fair chance of being able to complete them. Obviously, it might take a bit longer for some people to complete the missions than others, but I think overall everybody had a good chance to complete 5 bonus missions each day. And on top of the bonus missions, there was kind of one rule in the chapter 1 where it was you can only collect 500 in total of the moon jellies each day. It doesn't not include the bonus ones, so technically it was like 500 20. So like 600 in total. But yeah, so there was 500 a day, which I thought that was a pretty good amount overall. We had 10 days to do it, and I think you needed just under 1,500. So it was 3 days, and you could finish the event if you actually went ham on it, which is what I did. And then at the end, once you actually completed everything, it opened the middle, although you couldn't actually claim the middle until the 10 days was up, but it did look something like this, which looked pretty nice. And then after that, we just sat around and waited or competed for a high score. So with chapter 1 as well, also brought the cinnamon cookie and his pet, and also his new costume, plus it brought candy. So during the event, if you use the cinnamon cookie, you got 20%, I think it was, 20% more those the moon jellies per run, which really helped with the farming. I think most of the time with using the cinnamon cookie plus the boost cards for extra 30%, I think it was like 40 a run until it kind of petered out when you got near 500. But yeah, it was just really easy and quick way to farm those moon jellies. But for high score wise, Marshmallow took it. So yeah, with Marshmallow, we were looking at scores like 120 plus, I would say. Later on, that changed if you use Moonlight, but for the start, for that first chapter, during those first 10 days, Marshmallow was the winner. Alright, so moving on to Chapter 2. Chapter 2 brought with it another set of missions. This time there was 30 missions. You had rewards for every 10 you completed. So after 10 you got 300 crystals. After 20 you got an ocean dragon. And after 30 you got 1 moonlight. This also brought the moonlight and her candy, plus her trial. So for this trial though, it was kind of special. You needed ocean dragon for this trial, which is quite nice that they gave you a free copy of Ocean Dragon in the rewards for completing 20 missions. The missions weren't too difficult. You could complete them within a small amount of time. In fact, I completed them on the first day they were released. But you had quite a lot of time to complete them if you wanted to take it slow. I think in order to complete them in time for the last chapter to be open, I think you had to do like 3 a day, which wasn't too bad. Some of them were a little bit difficult. I remember the coin one being a little bit difficult, especially if you didn't have cheesecake. But cheesecake was the better choice with that one. You could have also done it with mint chocolate, which I think oh no, I did the first 2 with mint chocolate and did the last one with cheesecake. The problem was with cheesecake you only get 2 runs, so if you mess it up you gotta wait. But overall I thought that chapter 2 wasn't too bad. You could either take it slow or you could just blast it out. If you blasted it out, then you just had to sit there and just do high score runs. High score runs, turns out Marshmallow was also good again, but because Moonlight ended up getting a candy, she actually did take the crown in this. And I remember, I think I did a very first one with Marshmallow, but then I changed to Moonlight. But that's with Max Candy, so at the start it was a little bit difficult to get her candy going. But over the course of the event, you did get chances to get the ingredients. Not many, but you got a few at least to get her candy to level 1. Moving on to Chapter 3, the final chapter of City of Wizards. Chapter 3 brought with it Wizard Cookie Candy and also a new outfit, the Arcane Mage, I think it's called, which gave extra points for destroying obstacles. So in this chapter, kind of like Chapter 1, we had to collect special jellies. In this one, it was the Moon Jellies. Oh no, they're called memory jellies, weren't they? I'm pretty sure they're called moon jellies in Line Cookie Run, but it was a bit of a throwback to City of Wizards from Line Cookie Run and Cacao Cookie Run, where we used to collect these for mega points. In that though, the Lemon used to attract them with his shield, and also the Moonlight Cookie used to attract them with her ability. Unfortunately, in this particular version of City of Wizards, there was no such thing. You could get a random card which had a magnet to attract them, but there was no cookie that automatically attracted them. So you had to collect a certain number of these, and at the start there were 5 missions just like the Chapter 1. However, later on they did change it and add more missions in to make it easier for people to get the memory jellies. Keep forgetting the name. The memory jellies, pretty generous it was. They introduced like get 100 million, get like 100 memory jellies. There was ones for like 70 and everything else. And I think that was really generous right there, because that really made farming it a lot easier. On top of that, you could already farm 1,000 a day. If you did farm 1,000 a day, you were looking, it was like 2 or 3 days again, I think, and you could have finished the event. This time though, final reward, you got your chosen costume from Chapter 1, whether it was the full moon costume or the crescent costume. it turns out it didn't really matter which costume you get because both had the same ability. It was just personal preference of aesthetics. I still think the Crescent one looks the best. Full Moon is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, she is very beautiful, but Crescent is just the best costume. End of story. Overall, this was a very... This chapter 3 wasn't really too hard. Wizard Cookie got additional bonus for getting moon jellies. Not moon jellies. Memory jellies. They got memory jellies, additional 20%, I think. And there was also a random boost for extra 30%. However, I didn't really like using Wizard because his big ability, kind of sometimes threw the jumps off and you had to go up and down. And sometimes at high speed, it was a bit harder to get those jellies. So in the end, I actually grinded with Cinnamon. Because he gets a revive. I put the jumping shoe on and egg and a bit of a speed boost. And off I went. And that's the way I did it in the end. I didn't really do a video on it because I don't know why I didn't do it. I probably just wasn't feeling it. I don't know. Anyway, the event's over now. So yeah, but I think after they introduced those extra missions to get like an extra 200 a day or something, it was super easy to complete. But yeah, overall I think it was pretty good. For high score wise, Wizard was quite good in this, as was Marshmallow, obviously. But Moonlight was the best choice in this. Was getting like 180, I think. No, 190. I saw some people getting 190, close to 200 million with Moonlight. I think I ended up with like 180. I think was my max overall. And yeah, pretty good. Right then, let's move on to Squire's score. So as I said before, we have 6 different criteria, and then we're going to give it an average overall, whatever that might be. Alright, so first up is event idea. I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to give it a full 8. It was the first time they've obviously done an event like this, and I think it was a pretty good idea. Different chapters at different times. No one person can blast through all the way in a small amount of time. They paced it out. It was good. Had different things for each one. I know chapter 1 and chapter 3 were kind of the similar idea, but you did have to collect different things, and I guess the puzzle, so to speak, was different for each chapter. So yeah, I think it was good. Event idea, 8 out of 8. Smashing job. I'd be more than happy to see something like this return in the future, obviously with different cookies, perhaps not exactly the same, but something like with chapters, a chaptered story. Yeah, good job. Alright, criteria number 2, ease. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 8. Overall, I think it was pretty well balanced, to be perfectly honest. I'll give you the reason why I knocked off 2 points. I think chapter 2, some of the missions might have been a little difficult for some players, especially maybe newer players, or potentially some free to play players who have not grinded so much. But it's so hard to take into account everything. So I think a 6, potentially a 7, a 6 or a 7. I think overall, yeah, I thought it was pretty well balanced in general. Good stuff. Alright, as for waiting times, I'm also going to give it a 6 out of 8. I thought the waiting times were a little long. Some parts were a little long, like 10 days and stuff. Obviously, I think like the last chapter, come the last chapter, you've got to have a little bit of time. But I don't know, even then, I think maybe if you knock down the days on the other ones by like 3 days, makes each one a week, and then add those extra days to the last chapter, then that means people can go back to the beginning, or I forgot to complete chapter 1, and just go back, and then they don't feel so rushed. I don't know. It did feel a little long, but at the same time, as I said before, you've got to try and cater to all players. So, but I think 10 days was quite fair. I mean, it was planned for a month, wasn't it? So it was a month long event. Could do 4 chapters, but 3 chapters at 10 days. Yeah, why not? Why not? Alright, so for rewards, I gave it a 7 out of 8. I think it was teetering on a full 8 right there. Wasn't too sure, so I went for 7. But overall, I think the rewards are excellent. The first one, you got the chance to get Cinnamon Cookie himself from the rewards. In number 2, you got a chance to get Ocean Dragon, Moonlight Cookie, and a variety of other stuff like cubes, coins, crystals, potions, and chest keys, and other stuff like that. And eventually, in the end one, you got a chance to get ingredients for the candy. Maybe potentially could have given a couple more of the candy ingredients, but that would have taken away from the whole, this is a legend, so you've got to work for it if you really want to grind for it kind of thing. But some people are like, well, I think we should have been able to get both costumes because I don't like the costume I picked. Well, that's your fault then, isn't it? I mean, everybody had a choice to make. If you knew you were going to get both costumes from one from the event, one from buying, then it didn't matter. But you really, it's one of those things, in it. But both costumes do the same thing, so really it was an aesthetics choice, really, isn't it? Well, there you go. But I think, yeah, the rewards were really nice. Good job. All right, for free to play friendly, I gave it a 6.5. I mean, people be like, you're not free to play. How can you judge this? Well, I know people who are free to play, and I also read comments, and I also read Discord, and I also read other things, and I see when free people complain. And people complain. Well, people always complain, though. But yeah, I thought overall, it was alright. I mean, if you go, oh, well, when it started, I couldn't get Cinnamon Cookie. Well, you could, because you could work for it from the little full moon jellies. Yes, he's not going to be level 15 or anything like that, but there was a chance to get him for free from the event. You just had to work for it. Same goes for Moonlight and Ocean Dragon. Ocean Dragon was in fact available from the invite event for the past, God knows how many months. So you could have had that a couple times already. And yeah, but I thought it was relatively free to play friendly. I mean, chapter 2 might have been the part where it fell down. Like, some of those were a little difficult, and depending on how much you grinded, might have struggled with some of the missions. The other part of the free to play where it lost points could have been like the high score thing, the whole competing part. It's like, come in the top 1%, etc. That might have been quite difficult for some free to play players as well. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, as a free to play, player, what did you think? Let me know. But I thought it was kind of fair. Yeah, pretty happy with that. 6.5. Boom. Also, I think the thing for, because I previously mentioned, I think there should have been like a second playthrough, so the free to play players can get like the second costume. But both costumes really do the same thing. So at the end of the day, as I said before, it's just aesthetics, really. So yeah, I don't think they needed another playthrough for it, and putting the other one up in a package was perfectly fine. Obviously, if you really wanted it, show your support. Not everybody can, but maybe one day you can just like go, you know what, I'm gonna buy that package, do that. So I think, I thought it was fair in the end. Yeah, good job. Alright, so I gave time limit a full 8 because we had a month to complete it. So the time limit itself was perfectly fine. This is kind of different from Waiting Time, because like as the event overall, and 10 days per each chapter was pretty good. Like, it was plenty of time to do them, I think. But yeah, I thought time limit over a month was pretty sufficient. I think if you didn't finish it well in a month, it's a month time in it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I thought perfect, really, wasn't it? Really good job. So overall, 8 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 6.5 plus 8, it averages out at 6.92. So if you have a look at the 7th little thing, you will see that the fingers have been shaved off. Now that image is kind of grim. But there you go. Average score 6.92. Let's just round it up. 6 point. Oh, 6 point. It's about 7, isn't it? I thought that was it. I thought this event was really good. I enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, the waiting times are occasionally a bit long, but that was perfectly fine. Like, I reckon it was pretty good because you can finish it and then just go and do other things in the game. There are more things to do, trophy races, breakout, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I thought it was alright. You know, first time doing an event like this, I thought it was really good. I would happily have more like this. So, yeah, looking forward to more in the future. And that is the end of this event review. Went on a little bit, didn't it? So tell me what you think. Should I just... Because, I kind of, in this one, I did all review chapter 1, 2, and 3. Do you think I should cut all that and then just do, like, this end bit? Just show my scores and give my reasons? Hey, what do you think? What do you think? Alright, though. Leave those comments and constructive criticisms in the comment section below. And that is it for me. Until next time, bye-bye.